Off the grid is a system and lifestyle designed to help people function without the support of remote infrastructure, such as an electrical grid. In electricity, off-grid can be standalone power system or mini-grids, typically to provide a smaller community with electricity. Off-grid electrification is an approach to access electricity used in countries and areas with little access to electricity, due to scattered or distant population. The term off-the-grid can refer to living in a self-sufficient manner without reliance on one or more public utilities. People who adopt this lifestyle are called off-gridders. Off-the-grid homes are autonomous. They do not rely on municipal water supply, sewer, natural gas, electrical power grid, or similar utility services. A true off-grid house is able to operate completely independently of all traditional public utility services. The idea has been recently popularized by certain celebrities, including Ed Begley, Jr., who stars in the Living with Ed television show on the Home and Garden Television (HGTV) network. Actress Daryl Hannah promotes off-grid living and constructed her home in Colorado according to those principles, as does survival expert and dual survival co-star Cody London, who lives in a self-designed, passive solar earth house in the high desert wilderness of northern Arizona, collecting rainwater, composting waste, and paying nothing for utilities. Electrical power can be generated on-site with renewable energy sources such as solar, particularly with photovoltaics, wind, microhydro, geothermal, with a generator or micro-combined heat and power with adequate fuel reserves. Such a system is called a standalone power system, or sometimes referred to as a hybrid power system. In addition, it is possible to simply eliminate electric power, such as in Old Order Amish and Old Order Mennonite communities. On-site water sources can include a well, stream, tank, or lake. Depending on the water source, this may include pumps and/or filtration. Rainwater can also be harvested. Filters can be advanced, running off an energy source of boiling and storage. The concept of a sustainable off-grid community must take into consideration the basic needs of all who live in the community. To become truly self-sufficient, the community would need to provide all of its own electrical power, food, shelter and water. Using renewable energy, an on-site water source, sustainable agriculture, and vertical farming techniques is paramount in taking a community off the grid. A recent concept designed by Eric Wichman shows a multi-family community, which combines all of these technologies into one self-sufficient neighborhood. To grow the community, you simply add neighborhoods using the same model as the first. A self-sustained community reduces its impact on the environment by controlling its waste and carbon footprint. The state of California is encouraging solar and wind power generation that is connected to the electrical grid to avoid the use of toxic lead-acid batteries for nighttime storage. Grid tie systems are generally less expensive than off-grid systems due to the lack of additional equipment like charge controllers and the batteries. However, some systems may mitigate this difference by using old car batteries that can no longer supply enough current to start a car. It is often done to residential buildings only occasionally occupied, such as vacation cabins, to avoid high initial costs of traditional utility connections. Other persons choose to live in houses where the cost of outside utilities is prohibitive, or such a distance away as to be impractical. In his book How to Live Off-Grid, Nick Rosen lists 7 reasons for going off-grid. The top 2 are saving money and reducing the carbon footprint. Others include survivalists, preparing for the collapse of the oil economy and bringing life back to the countryside. In situations where grid parity has been reached, it becomes cheaper to generate one's own electricity rather than purchasing it from the grid. This depends on equipment costs, the availability of renewable energy sources, wind, sun, and the cost of a grid connection. For example, in certain remote areas a grid connection would be prohibitively expensive, resulting in grid parity being reached immediately.